Radio, Style Rock.
Benvenuti su Virgin Radio, siamo qui per parlare di uno degli album più acclamati degli R.e.m. Era il 1996 ed usciva un grande disco, un disco che potremmo definire di culto, e siamo qui per parlarne in occasione della celebrazione del 25esimo anniversario. Lo facciamo con un ospite speciale, siamo davvero felici di avere con noi Mike Mills. Nice to meet you, Mike. It's a pleasure to have you here on Virgin Radio.
Thank you, Francesco. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, how are you doing there in Georgia, in Athens?
Molto bene, molto bene.
Oh, perfect. Okay, it's a long journey. We have a beautiful album to explore for the 25th anniversary of the record. So, New Adventures in Hi-Fi is still a cult album, one of the most acclaimed from R.e.m. fans, a record that evokes the emotion of a long journey. Can you tell us your memory of the 1996 in R.e.m. career?
Well, it was a very long tour. It was a lot of fun. Some people remember the illnesses that we had, but really the band, we just remember how much fun we had touring the world, especially Europe. We had a lot of really big fun shows all over the continent, and we really had a good time. And while we were having a good time making that tour, we also made a record. And, that's something that doesn't really get done very often, to do a tour and a record at the same time, especially when it's not a traditional live record. It's just a record that captures some of the energy of being on the road, some of the feeling of travel that's involved in being on the road. And that's what we were looking for.
So you talk about you travel all the world, North America, Europe, Australia, Japan. And while we talk, in the news are telling that Australia is coming out of the biggest lockdown in the history of the country. So what weird times we're living in, but we're coming out. And I would like to ask you about the pandemic. How did you feel? How did you stare at the world in the last 2 years?
Yeah, it's something that, none of us alive today have really ever lived through before, and hopefully we'll never have to again. The harm it's done to people's lives and to families, and it's incredibly sad and really depressing if you let it be. On the other hand, I know a lot of people who just tried to take advantage of the downtime they had and do the best job they could, whether they learned a new instrument, musicians, trying to write songs, learning new instruments. I think there's going to be a lot of great music made in the next year because musicians have been saving up their songs and writing all these songs and getting ready to put them out. So I know one of my bands, the Baseball Project, is going to make a record in January. I think there are going to be a lot of musicians putting out new music in the next year.
Okay. And this anniversary edition will include a lot of stuff, rarities, a film, even a book of pictures. I would like to ask you if you personally take care of every details of the record. A very demanding job, as much as you did when you recorded and wrote the album in 1996, maybe.
We have a gentleman in our office named Kevin O'Neill who does incredible work for us and with us. He is the primary gatherer of all the extra songs and content that we use. And he finds it, and then he brings it to the band, and we allow most of it to be used unless there's something we really don't like, and we say that's terrible, don't use that. But it's really interesting to see what he digs up and hear stuff that maybe we'd forgotten about or just hadn't thought about in 20 years. And it's fun to share that with the fans. I enjoy that aspect of it.
I hope it is not an indelicate question, but like a fan would do, meeting you in the street. I have maybe a challenging question. Why even a legendary band as R.e.m. has come to an end?
Well, there were many reasons for us to end it when we did. We've kind of felt that we had accomplished everything we could possibly accomplish. Our record contract was over. The record business, the whole music business, was changing in ways that, no one could see. And they were still happening. We were right in the middle of all those changes, and we said, you know what? Let's do something nobody else has done. Let's shake hands and walk away as friends. We all have our health. We all have most of our sanity. We can still be friends and go off and make other music and leave R.e.m. where it is right now. And I thought that was more of an opportunity than it was anything else. I think there are probably some bands that wish they had that opportunity. And so we were really glad to move on when we did.
So just good, amazing memory. No regrets, I hope.
No regrets. I miss it sometimes, but no, I wouldn't change a thing.
Okay. Just get into the album. Listening to the album, I try to figure out. The places, the atmosphere that influenced the record on your journey. What about Seattle and the Bad Animal studio? We're talking about a city that changed the history of music in the '90s, and that studio, the same studio where bands like Soundgarden, R.e.m, and the Alice in Chains made their recordings, and you as well. What was the atmosphere of those times in Seattle?
Seattle was a really fun place to be at that time. Bad Animals was a great studio. The Sisters from Heart put it together, Ann and Nancy Wilson. It was a great place to work. Seattle was very exciting at that time. There was, as you pointed out, a lot of great music being made up there. A whole new type of music had come out in the last few years from there. And it was just a really exciting, creative time to be there. We knew most of those guys, and it was everybody fed off each other's energy and helped each other create this music. Just by being in the business together. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, and the timing was good. That was a good time to be in Seattle before. And now, there's too much tech money there and everything's too expensive and nobody can really afford to live in Seattle anymore. So we caught it at just the right time.
Yeah, of course. And, the meaning of some song of New Adventures in Hi-Fi are still highly debated by the fans. How the West was won and where it got us. Let's start from the first. Someone thinks it's about conflicts generated by religion and politics. Someone else say it's about a fear of failure. But what is the real meaning the song is holding? You can tell us.
Well, I'm not sure that there is an overall meaning that anyone needs to know about. I'm not exactly sure what Michael was thinking when he wrote those words. I think they're just more images that he felt went along with the music. It was written really quickly. Bill Berry was playing that drum beat and I was sitting at the piano, and literally that song came out in just the amount of time it takes to play it. That's when we wrote it. It took about 3 minutes to write. Lyrically, I think if anything, if you really wanted to put some meaning to it, my feeling is that it's about how the United States took over the West. The treatment of Native Americans by the United States government was appalling and still is appalling. And I think that's in there a little bit, but I would not say that that's what the song is about. I think the song is about the images that you see in your head when you listen to Michael's words.
Do you think that is it positive for a band to speak his mind about what is going on in the world? It is okay to speak your mind about politics, about things that you don't like in a song, because someone could not like a political involved song, I think.
Yes, that's true. It's funny. Most art is politics in one way or another, whether it's painting or even sculpture, certainly music. There's always something political going on in there, whether you're aware of it or not. And if you choose to use your platform to make statements, maybe to try to make the world a better place, or maybe to shine light on injustice, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's one of the jobs that artists have, is to do exactly those things. Now, you wouldn't want every song to be that. You don't want to preach to people. You don't want people to get tired of what you're trying to say. But on the other hand, if you feel strongly about something and you want to put that into your art, into your music, into your painting, I think that is exactly what artists should do. And aside from that, I think everyone should be involved in politics. I think no matter what your job is, or if you don't have a job, I think you should be involved in politics because it affects each and every one of us. And I have no problem with that.
Okay, and another iconic song is the one with Patti Smith. I was looking back at the video; it was iconic, I think, and you can hear her kindly, gently whispering, singing through the song with Michael. And the song is "E About a Letter," one of the one we will hear in the anniversary edition of New Adventures in Hi-Fi. Can you tell us more about the mutual respect and a kind of friendly relationship I think you always had with her?
You know, we were very lucky to be able to work with her. You know, she was certainly an icon of all of ours growing up. I mean, she's an amazing poet. She's an amazing singer. She's a great songwriter. She's just an artist all the way around, and with an amazing voice. And we were big fans of hers, and we tried to get her to play on a record way back, even before this one, but she was unable to do so. And then when we asked her again, she said yes. We were all thrilled about that. She brings her own unique qualities to that song. You know, that's one of the few songs where the words came first. That was actually a letter that Michael had. I think he might have actually written it to Patti Smith, as I recall. Michael, if I'm wrong, please correct me. But so he had that letter that he wrote to Patti, and then when we wrote that music, he said, well, this is perfect for that. So that's the rare occasion where the lyrics came first.
Yeah, and this is one of the songs of 30 years of career, song that made their way into the heart and the memories of millions of fans. But the most beautiful song, question, were born more from the agreement or more from the artistic, how could I tell, contrast between you, Michael, Peter, and Bill, until he was in the band, of course?
Well, you know, you never know where music is going to come from. You never know where songs are going to come from. They sometimes it comes out of harmony and happiness, and sometimes it comes out of discord and anger. We always got along really well as friends and as members of the band. We certainly didn't agree on everything musically speaking. So, but part of being in a band is you learn to compromise. You have to learn to accept that the other guy's idea might be better than yours, or even if it's not better than yours, sometimes you just have to let it go and let that be the idea that you use. As far as songs on this record, I think everybody was pretty much in harmony about them. I don't think we had too many disagreements about how to record them or how to mix them. I think it actually went pretty smoothly. More smoothly than some others, but it went pretty well.
Okay, and let's talk about your story. It began over 30 years ago on the benches of University of Georgia. Do you remember your biggest influence at that time?
Well, there were so many influences at that time, because when you're in college, that's when you're being exposed to all sorts of new music, new art, new people, new ideas. Those are the years in which you should really be exploring everything you can think of to find. So certainly, there was a lot of great music happening in Athens. You know, bands like Pylon and the Method Actors and Love Tractor. They were all friends of ours and contemporaries of ours, and making just this incredible music. And then Peter, who was always a bit of a record historian, was turning me on to things I hadn't, you know, I had never really listened to the Velvet Underground before I went to college. I had never heard Big Star, who became a huge influence on us. I think we all just did what you want to do in college, which is to show each other new things and learn new things and just open your mind to all possibilities and all ideas.
And who was the most creative, disruptive element of the four when you met in the college years?
Oh, well, we were all pretty creative, I'll say that. And I was probably more disruptive than anybody else. I believed in having a good time as often as possible. So that can cause a little disruption now and again. But we were all on the same page. You know, we were all enjoying life. We were all enjoying music. We were enjoying each other's company. We enjoyed being in Athens, Georgia, which was a really fun place to be in the early 80s. So, yeah, I look back on those as really joyful years for all of us.
And the last time I saw you together with Michael was 2 years ago when you were in Stockholm with Virgin Radio and the interview for the 25th anniversary edition of Monster. And it was very emotional, you know. And I think it's a great privilege to have spent so many time with a great friend as him. Are you such a long journey with him? So are you still hanging out? Are you still making music, even if R.e.m. is over in the last 10 years?
Well, one of the reasons we broke up when we did was so we would remain friends. We didn't want to push it into the place where we got tired of each other or got too angry with each other and spoiled our friendship. So yes, we are all still very, very good friends. We're all in touch with each other quite frequently. Before COVID, we were always traveling and running into each other and having dinners. Peter and I will actually be making a record together soon with the Baseball Project in January. So yes, the answer is yes. We're all still very good friends. We really enjoy each other's company when we can visit, and I'll look forward to many years of exactly that.
Yeah, but you're living in different cities, I think.
Yeah. Everybody's Peter's in Portland. I'm in Athens. Bill lives not too far out in the country from here. Michael is mostly in New York City, but he travels a lot as well. So the fun thing is we never know exactly where we're going to run into each other, but we always seem to manage to find each other somewhere.
Oh, good. Okay. And as one of your songs in Out of Time said, even if the world should ever collapse around our ears, I think that the best thing to do is to turn up the volume and listen to our favorite R.e.m. song. And so I have to thank you for 30 years of great music, of great rock and roll, for this 25th anniversary edition of New Adventures NAIHF that we will listen with joy. Thank you for being with us on Virgin Radio, Mike.
Grazie mille, Francesco.
Have a good day there in Athens, and I hope to see you soon in Italy. I know, maybe having a walk in Rome or Milan or somewhere. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, okay?
Pleasure's mine. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you in Italy.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Ciao.
Virgin Radio, Style Rock.